our souls are incredibly playful. That is like their language. That's how they speak. And so when we can drop into a play state, we then can speak to and really speak in the language of our souls. Hello and welcome back to Remember Why You're Here, a podcast for seekers and sensitives where you can relax, receive, reconnect to yourself, and remember the most important thing of all, why you're here. I'm Asia Suler, author, teacher, earth intuitive, and this is your reading for July 2025. I was really excited when this card came out of this deck. The themes for this month revolve around healing through play, letting go of heavy burdens, and returning to your true self. So without further ado, let's jump into the reading for the month ahead. So the card I pulled this month came from the Four Noble Tarot deck by Frances Naudet, and this has become one of my favorite decks to work with. I love that it all comes in one compact package. It's really helpful for travel. It's like my favorite deck to travel with now. And the descriptions are always like sort of perfectly attuned to both positivity as well as growth. And I really appreciate that. I really feel my own connection to my own spirit when I work with this deck. So I was excited to work with this deck for July, as many of us are traveling or are en route. It felt like perfect timing. So the card that I picked from this deck was the Six of Cups. And in this deck with these guilt images, these sort of simple line-drawn guilt images, it's two rabbits playing with each other with these cups filled with flowers. I love the Six of Cups card in tarot. It's not one that I actually get that often. I wish I got it more, but in traditional tarot, it is a lot about, childlike innocence and play, like a return to the inner child, sometimes nostalgia around childhood. There's an element of finding happiness and joy in the mundane in the way that children do, sort of this return to one's pure self, one's essential self, and, really being able to have compassion for yourself and especially your past, especially if you're looking backwards in any way. So it's a really healing card to get. And there's also a levity to it. I loved what Frances Naudet wrote, so I'm just going to read a short bit of that description. The inner child within you is ready to be seen, healed, nurtured, and loved. Your spiritual team is holding your hand as you face the places that you may have pushed aside over the years. Trust that you have the strength to heal and leave the pain in the past. The universe is inviting you to be kinder to yourself at this time. Speak to yourself as you would a child, and give yourself the grace, forgiveness, playfulness, and compassion that you deserve. So when I sat with this card and was asking what was coming through me for this collective here that I'm a part of, the theme that came up super strongly with this card and why I think it arrived is this theme of healing through play. This theme of opening up new levels of freedom through inviting play into your life this month. Play is a distinctly healing force. We have the ability to dissolve major obstacles and blocks in our life through play. And I think there's often this mindset, especially in the spiritual world, where we think we have to effort and work really hard. And sometimes we do, but I think there's this other side, and this other side is this side of play, this side that when we step into the flow state of play, things just naturally start to fall into place. Things naturally start to fall away or to take form in your life. Play is an essential human skill. It's a really important aspect of our makeup as creatures, as humans. So what is play? Play is doing something just because. It's doing something just because it brings you happiness or pleasure or joy. Play is not results focused. And in fact, if you're focused on the result at all of what you're doing, then it's not necessarily play. So play in this way, it has no result. You do it just because it brings you alive. Period. End of story. So there's this quote by play coach Jeff Harry, and the quote is, "One way to think about play is an action you do that brings you a significant amount of joy without offering a specific result." And that just captures it all. If in your play you are trying to cross something off your to-do list or be productive in any way, then it's simply not play. Play is engaging with presence and curiosity and joy in whatever it is that's at hand. And I think a lot of us as adults in this world need to reclaim this energy of play, these play pathways in our brain and in our spirit. And, this can be a process sometimes, but it starts with just being willing to be playful, with being willing to invite play as a healing force into your life. We are designed to learn faster, easier, and more effectively through play. And we see this with children. Children play for all kinds of reasons. There's some quote that says something along the lines of for children, play is work. For children, this is their serious work in life. And so much is accomplished through play. They develop skills of resiliency. They process trauma. They process their emotions and develop coping skills. All of this happens through play. And this is why child development experts know that it's essential that your child has time to play, because so much is actually happening through that play. Well, we consider play to be important for children, but we don't realize that it's just as important for us as adults. It does not stop being important for us in this life. And so as we walk into this month, the invitation is really to invite play into your life, to connect to the possibility that healing might not happen because you're going to strong arm it, but happen because you're willing to play. You're willing to let your spirit step into this playful way of being with the world. You're willing to open back up your relationship with play and to see what happens. And research does show that play for adults is essential for our ability to think creatively, for our general well-being, and for our ability to access flow states. Flow states are exactly as they sound. Flow states are when you are in your own flow. It's almost this effortless movement through life. If you are an athlete and you've gotten to that point where you're no longer thinking about the run or, no longer thinking about what you're doing, you're just in the flow and it's almost like it's moving through you, that's a flow state. Or if you're an artist and you're no longer concentrated on what technique or what materials, you're just in the movement, that's a flow state. And flow states, they're like the magic sauce of life. They're what we are always looking to be in. And I think it's because we remember on a spiritual level that this is actually how we're meant to be in life, that we are meant to be in a flow state, that in our essential state as spirits on a very human journey, that we are meant to be in this state of just flow within life instead of always trying to effort. And I think that getting into the space of efforting, it's just part of the human experience. It's it is part of what we come here and sign up to experience. But at our essence, on a soul level, we know that all is flow and that all is flowing. And so how do we access more of this flow state in our life where things feel a little bit more effortless, more graceful, more like the path is just already defined in front of you, and all you need to do is just relax into the water and let yourself be held as you flow downstream? Well, we do that through play. That is how we access that state. And for this month ahead, the message that came through so strongly for me was that there is this really big, distinct possibility of healing, of reaching the next level of healing, especially of things that might have their origin in the past that are connected to childhood or earlier periods in your life or the developmental years of your life, that there's something here that can be shifted, moved, healed, dissolved when we allow ourselves to play. That play aspect this month actually has this potential to move some pretty significant things in your life if you just allow yourself to go there. And my guide specifically wanted me to say that if you are feeling frustrated or angry or upset or depressed about something you've been working on and feeling like you've gotten stuck at a certain level, or you're not where you want to be, then this is the antidote. And that came through really strongly. This is the antidote this month. And it's this bizarre, paradoxical thing where sometimes something cannot heal or change or move to the place we wanted to move because we're holding on too tightly. And it doesn't make any sense, but this is just part of the earth experience. We have to let go. We have to almost give ourselves a break from caring so much about moving the needle on this thing. And when we give ourselves that break and we let ourselves play, it's like it just effortlessly happens in the background. And this is what actually occurs for our children, right? When they play. And so the invitation for you this month is to let that happen for you too, to let go of something that you've been really efforting within and give yourself permission for this month to play and see what shifts. Everybody plays in different ways. And I think this is super fascinating that we all have different ways that we like to play. And I see this really clearly with my daughter, and I see her with certain friends. And, sometimes some of her friends, they're really simpatico. They really like playing in the same way. And other of her friends, it's like they do not like playing in the same way at all. One of her friends wants to figure out the mechanics of how the light switches work. And she's over here just, wanting to pretend that she's a kangaroo. And so I think that this is important to remember for ourselves as adults as well, is that we also have different play pathways. We also have the different things that make us feel excited and joyful and jovial. And so part of our task in this lifetime is to reconnect to the things that we love, the things that are joyful for us, the way that we like to play. So one way you can do this is to really think back and ask yourself, what did you love to do as a child? What did you spend hours and hours just doing, like getting lost in, like you lost track of time. You just adored it so much. These breadcrumbs from childhood will often show us the way to move forward now. And if you can't think of anything there, or you don't have a whole lot of memories from your childhood, think about today. When's the last time you remember getting into a state where you completely lost track of time, where you were just enjoying what you were doing? You weren't thinking about how long it was going to take or what was going to happen afterwards or what the result was going to be. You were just simply enjoying yourself and enjoying life. That is such an indicator of how you like to play, what kind of play works for you. We are looking for this sense of timeless joy, of buzzing contentment with life, of slipping into these flow states where time seems to disappear and you just have an excitement about being alive. Oh, that's the good stuff, isn't it? That is just such the good stuff. And play is how we get there. So make a list. Really write down the things that help you to play or help you to step into this play state. And if you're really not sure, use this month to experiment. Try on different things. See, what do I like to do? What does bring me joy? This is like such valuable information to have about yourself. It's almost this thing where I feel like when you know how to play, how you like to play, it's like having a cheat code for life. It really is. It's like you have this cheat code for how to access possibility and healing in a way that is joyful. Being able to heal through levity, through play, through expansion and joy is such a powerful skill to have in life. And there's an opportunity this month for you to really develop that skill in a way that will see you through the years ahead. So if any of this is feeling, overwhelming, or you're struggling with this at all, one thing you could do is to ask yourself, what does my inner child need to feel safe enough to play? Because sometimes if we have a block to play, if we have a block to taking time to play, or we feel like it's silly or unproductive, or we just don't know where to begin, it can be really helpful to start with that inner child and just ask them, what do you need to feel safe enough to play? So take some quiet time, tune into that, and they will tell you. They will tell you, like, what are the things that they need to actually feel safe enough to let go of what they are holding or feeling like they need to manage and drop into play state. And the thing is, it doesn't take that much convincing, because that's how children are. They know that all the healing and the good stuff happens through play. So sometimes they just need to know that they're safe enough to go there. So to really ask yourself this month, what are the ways that I like to play? What are the ways that I can invite people in my life to play with me? How do I want to play with the other people in my life right now? And in what ways does my spirit see all of life as a playful possibility? In what ways does my soul see my life as just one big arena to play with? My lifetime as just one big, beautiful playtime here on this planet to explore different ideas and experiences and ways of growing. I really think on this spiritual level, our souls are incredibly playful. That is like their language. That's how they speak. And so when we can drop into a play state, we then can speak to and really speak in the language of our souls. And it's amazing the kind of movement, creativity, healing, and connection that can happen just by being willing to play. So let the animal of your body guide you this month. Let your body, your senses, your sensuality, your experience of life guide you, tell you what is delightful and what is not, what brings you alive and what is like, someone else's way of play. Let it be possible to have lightness be the thing that is healing for you this month. Let it be an experiment. Don't let play be another thing on your to-do list this month. Let this month be about curiosity and, joy and experience and trying it out. I see this all the time with my daughter. She'll try a new way of playing, decide it's not for her, try a new way of playing and realize she likes it but wants to tweak it in a certain way. Let that be the same for you. This is not a task on the to-do list. This is an opening. This is a grand vista. This is like a field full of wildflowers. And you have the distinct possibility to just walk into it for a long stretch of an afternoon and simply play. Because the lightness that you will cultivate through inviting play into your life will ripple out into every other aspect of your life. It will ripple out into places of heaviness or stuckness or frustration. It will ripple out into the corners of your existence, and it will heal things so much faster and with so much more levity and joy than you could have accessed before. So if you are resonating with this reading, I would love to hear about it. Leave me a voice message. I have a voice messaging service on my website at asiasuler.com/remember. And I loved hearing last month how many people really found that the intuitive reading for the month was already clicking with what they had intuitively downloaded for themselves. And this is the whole point of these, right? Is for it to be confirmation or affirmation for you in what you have probably already been receiving or working with or understanding. So here's a few of their messages of just confirmation for what they had already been experiencing walking into last month.
I just listened to your June reading and it was awesome. It was so on point for me. I mean, a lot of what you were talking about was the light that's coming, and I feel that so strongly. And so I feel this aliveness coming.
I just listened to your intuitive reading about the mighty sunflower, and guess what? An oracle card I recently pulled was open to abundance, and there are sunflowers in the illustrations. So thank you for that.
Oh, it was such a powerful transmission, and I really feel that one in my soul. Thank you for sharing your medicine and your gifts. Such a blessing.
So let this be confirmation for you that the things that you have been sensing are real, that you are tapped in, you are intuitive, and that this reading this month is really just here to remind you of the pathways that you are already sensing opening before you. So I am excited for this month. I feel like a lot is going to happen, and a lot's going to happen while we're having fun, which is kind of the best combination possible. So I'm excited to hear about how it unfolds for you. May this month be one of healing through simply enjoying existence, through finding your unique pathways of being alive in this world, and of through this pathway of play and joy and levity and possibility, you just naturally reconnect to the most important thing of all, why you're here.